Hello everybody, JohnScript12 back here again with another video, and today I bring you a big, awesome movie review. Yes, I bring you my Big Hero 6 movie review. Now, essentially, Big Hero 6 is Disney and Marvel Studios' newest and first actual animated feature together. Yes, ever since the creation, the formation of Disney and Marvel Studios, they decided to started to make a cinematic universe, if you didn't notice, and they made obviously one of the biggest and most awesomest, if that's even a word, comic book movies. And Disney was, I guess, essentially like, you do realize we do make, animated features, and Marvel was like, okay, well, here's a comic book property we don't really care about and probably will ever do, so here, take that. And it's like, okay, well then, and then they made it into this animated feature, essentially. That's like my guess of how the movie became to be, but it was a pretty awesome movie. It came out November 7th over here in the States, so I definitely was there opening day. It was pretty interesting to say the least, but for those of you who are wondering if the movie is anything like the comic book series, essentially, the comic book series, if you're wondering like if you need to be associated with the comic book history before going into the movie, you don't really need to. Essentially, going into the movie, Disney makes it more of a Disney movie than a Marvel comic book movie, so you don't really need to be associated with the comic book series to be into this movie itself. So for that, I'm just gonna treat this movie straight alone as a straight ahead Disney feature than an actual Marvel Studios comic book movie. So let's just go right down to it. Essentially, the overall plot of the series is about this kid, this super genius kid, Hiro Hamada, and his brother, Tadashi Hamada, who are like super genius robotics kids, and they live in this metropolis, essentially in Japan, which is a fictional city that's apparently a combination of like San Francisco and Tokyo, which is weird. I didn't know why they had to go that route, because for those of you who don't know, the actual series takes place in Japan, so I didn't really understand why they had to go straight ahead and like make fictional cities and whatnot. So I don't know what the whole conversation was that all about. And also, when you go into watching the movie, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but doesn't anybody find it weird that like all the characters, instead of making them Japanese, kind of felt white? Like, everybody felt way too white for this movie. Even Hiro Hamada, like, even though he's like a Japanese kid, and it just felt like he just felt like a white kid to me. Like, I didn't know why that was essential. I don't know if that's like old classic, oh well, that's some old classic Disney racism. I don't know if that's true or not, but I just felt they could have just stayed in the real world, which is in Japan. Japan's a real place, Disney. You don't have to make everything white. But essentially, Hiro is fascinated with robotics. He wants to join the Institute of Technology with his brother, which he calls the Nerd School, which is a combination of tons of teenagers who are associated with technology. For instance, Honey Lemon, Go-Go, Wasabi, and of course their laid-back comic book geek friend, Fred, who is voiced by T.J. Miller, which essentially, for those of you who are not wondering, like, T.J. Miller is essentially my favorite person now. Like, essentially, he's like my favorite character in this movie, and aside from Baymax, I'm telling you, people, he needs to play Jimmy Olsen in the new Man of Steel universe. I'm just saying, like, if he does not play Jimmy Olsen, I'm gonna be sorely like disappointed. But essentially, that's the characters, and then they join up with this humongous. Apparently, Hiro creates this like new robotic technology and wants to try and get into the Institute of Technology. But then when he does, apparently this spoilers if you've yet to see the movie, of course. Actually, spoiler all around. I mean, like, if you've yet to see the movie, then go see the movie, then come back here. But essentially, his brother dies in this big explosion after trying to save their teacher of the school, which is Professor Callaghan, apparently. And then, after humongous depression, Hiro discovers Baymax, which is his brother's robot that he was developing, and then they go on adventures together, trying to discover the secrets behind his brother's death and who has developed Hero's technology. And then they essentially go on adventures together like that, trying to, bunch of Disney-esque kind of adventures and whatnot. Hero attends to help from his friends to try and save the day from this like new masked villain, if you will, wearing a kabuki mask, who has been using Hero's technology against himself. So I don't know. There's a whole bunch of really weird, wacky stuff going on. Essentially, Hero developed this technology. This masked guy took the technology. There's this humongous secret as to why he took it. Like, how did he get it? How is he developing it? And what is he going to use it for? So, obviously, Hero's trying to use Baymax to try to save the day from this guy, try to discover all these secrets, using his friends, Wasabi and Go-Go and whatnot, to try and save the day. They develop all these new technology suits to try and become like this Japanese-esque Avengers and stuff, which is kind of cool. And it just goes on from there. It's really interesting, fun movie. But, I don't know, it just felt... There's a lot of things in this movie that I really enjoy and really liked, but there was a lot of things that I really kind of didn't understand and didn't like. Like, for instance, this movie, if you watch it, if you're as an adult, if you are going with a kid or something, then I guess it's a lot more better to suspend disbelief, but, and I'm not even talking about the technology, it's just, like, the formula into making the movie. Like, for instance, like every time something would happen, I already knew what was going to happen like 10 minutes later. And I don't know if that's because of like watching so many Disney movies when I was a kid. I mean, like, for fuck's sake, guys. I mean, like, I live in Florida, for fuck's sake. It's hard to not be into Disney stuff. But, but it was just so obvious. Like, I don't know why, but I guess Disney needs to like change up like their formula with like making movies or something, because like everything just felt so obvious. It's like, okay, well, here's the part where, the characters we love die, and here's the section where, we discover the villain. Oh yeah, here's the part where, the sad, depressing section. Oh, here's the part where they discover the truth. Everything felt very too, like, obvious right before it was going to happen, which I thought was kind of, like, sad as, like, a movie buff, as a movie critic, if I could call myself that. It just felt way too obvious. And now, granted, the movie is generated mostly for kids. It's pointed to kids. It's the whole sole purpose is to attract it towards kids. So I don't really gripe it that much for that. Another thing I didn't really like was the fact that they had to make this really weird fictional Japanese kind of place for the characters. I don't see why they couldn't just set it in Japan, in Tokyo itself. So I don't know why they had to do that. Another thing I didn't like is like making all the characters way too white. Like, why was that? I mean, like, these characters live in Japan. Make them Japanese. What are you doing? I mean, it just didn't make any sense. I didn't really like that. And for those of you who are wondering if there is any kind of Japanese influence in the animation, for instance, like, is there a sequence where something feels a little anime-esque? Not really. If any anime and or manga fans are looking forward to this movie, trying to see like, oh, well, this is Disney's attempt at an anime. Well, essentially, the only thing that's really anime or manga related is mostly the atmosphere, like the city itself, the backgrounds, the walls, the posters, the paintings, the drawings, like everything in the background is essentially kind of like based off manga and anime. That's the only thing. Everything else is essentially like average Disney creation stuff. So that's kind of sad. I would have going into the movie, I was like, God, are they gonna put like some kind of anime sequence or something, or like that would be kind of cool. Like maybe if like Hero's like watching TV and there's like an anime like Power Rangers-esque like TV show on or something. I would have liked to seen something like that, just as a nod to anime, seeing as how Marvel has had this obsession with doing like something anime related lately, so I would have liked to seen something like that, but we didn't really get anything like that. But the movie itself is awesome. It's very well done. It's a really great piece of work. It's a great piece in Disney's animated feature list. Of course, it's made by the creators of Wreck-It Ralph and Frozen, which are really great movies, and I like to consider them like the best Disney movies that Disney's made in a fucking really long time. So, I really love the movie. It was very well done. I like the actors that they chose to play these characters, like Ryan Potter as Hiro Mada, obviously T.J. Miller as Fred, Scott Adsit as Baymax. Were really great choices for all these characters. I really liked everybody who played every single character. I think every casting choice was great, and the characters themselves were great. Everything was awesome. The production was great. For those who are wondering, like, well, is there going to be like some kind of like Marvel influence? Well, there is actually. There are post-credit scenes and Easter egg references in this movie. Seeing as how the animation was very weirdly paced, and it was a pretty long movie, so it's kind of hard to keep track of everything that happened, but there are a couple Easter egg references that I did catch. For instance, Stan Lee is apparently playing Fred's father. There's actually a painting on the wall where we actually get to see Fred's dad, and it's Stan Lee, and apparently Stan Lee is a secret retired superhero for some reason. I don't know why that was, but it's kind of cool to say the least. Also, another really weird Easter egg reference is Stitch. I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but in the background in Hero's house, there are pictures of his family and whatnot, and there's a specific picture right next to his family of a dog that resembles a lot like Stitch from the Lilo and Stitch series. I don't know why that was. I don't know if that was done on purpose, but it was kind of cool to see that because I always liked the character of Stitch. I thought he was an interesting character, and I think it's good that they give him an Easter egg somewhere in the Disney universe. Nevertheless, that's essentially all I can see from remembering from yesterday's premiere, so I really don't know. If anybody else saw any Easter egg references that I did not catch, please in the comment section below let me know. I want to say that I saw like some Japanese influence, for instance, like anime, manga-esque characters, but I can't really remember if I saw anything. There were so many crazy things in Hero's house or Fred's house that could be taken for resembling anime-esque characters. Like, for instance, Fred's house. His entire room is dedicated to like comic book characters and monsters and anime and all that kind of cool stuff. So it's kind of hard to keep track of all that stuff. So I want to also say, for some damn reason, but I want to say that Inhumans was referenced in this movie. I don't know why, but there's like, if anybody goes and watches the movie, in Fred's room, in the background when he's talking or something, in the like the top ceiling of the room, there's like this group of characters that of comic book-esque characters, toys, that resemble the Inhumans for some reason. So I don't know if that was actually the Inhumans, but if it was, that's kind of cool. I don't know. It was really hard to keep track of all the stuff that they put in this movie in the background because there's so much happening in the foreground. So that's pretty much it. The characters were great. I loved Baymax. He's hands down, I think he's going to be a great addition to the Disney universe. I'm pretty sure, I can pretty much guarantee that every single kid in America is going to want to have a Baymax-esque toy, kind of similar to Frozen. It's like, you know, every little girl sings Let It Go. Everybody wants to Let It Go. You know, they fucking love that shit. So I can pretty sure that, and then in the following year, we're going to get tons of Baymax-type stuff, which is a good thing because I like the character of Baymax. He was very sweet and cuddly and funny in the movie. It was very awesome. The movie overall is very well done. If I had to give it a rating, I'd give it a good 8.5 out of 10. It was very well done. There were some things that I did not like. For instance, the things I mentioned. But overall, it was a very well done movie. It was a great addition to Disney's feature films. It's also a good platform for new types of movies. For instance, Disney animated features featuring Marvel comic book characters, which is pretty cool. I can't wait to see what happens. But in the end, that's pretty much it. If you guys are wondering, like, will there be a sequel to this movie? Well, apparently, there is a post-credit scene. I didn't notice it at first because I thought they were going to just treat it as a regular Disney movie, but apparently in a post-credit scene, Fred, the character Fred, is back in his mansion, and he's talking to a photograph of his father, which I did mention is Stan Lee, which is funny. And he's telling him how proud he would be of like saving the day and whatnot with his friends and what have you. And apparently he accidentally steps into a secret doorway, really Spider-Man 2-esque. and discovers weapons and armor and superhero-esque type stuff, and discovers that his father's there, and states that they have a lot to talk about before, you know, whatever happens or whatnot. So, will there be a sequel? I didn't really guess that there would be, but if Disney essentially does plan to make another animated feature featuring these characters, I would be into it. I would love to see a sequel. I love this movie, Big Hero 6. It was really good. For those of you who are wondering, like, should you go see it? It's definitely worth a watch. Originally, I was gonna go see Interstellar, because I big Chris Nolan fan, but at the same time, like, I didn't want to sit there for like 3 hours, so I decided to go see Big Hero 6, and it was a good turnout. It's a very well done movie, so. Well, that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed. In the comment section below, let me know what you personally thought about Big Hero 6. What did you like or dislike comparing it to its comic book counterpart? What do you think about the characters and their versions in this movie? For instance, Hiro Amada and Baymax, and all the other various characters in this movie. What did you think about this new Disney/Marvel comic book animated feature? And of course, just let me know about every single Easter egg reference that you caught. Overall, I love the movie. I love the characters. If they make a sequel, I'd love to see it. But let me know what you personally think. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. And that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. This has been John 12.